When you have a clinical practice where all you see are individuals and partners and new relationships and old relationships, you get very competent in looking at different people, watching them, listening to them, to be able to tell your clients who is a good person as far as dating and who is not, who has mature emotional behaviors and who does not. And many times it's no joke that when I go out, people will talk about someone new they're dating and they'll ask me what I think. Experts in the field of relationship can identify specific behaviors, especially when people are newly dating, that when you're in a situation, when you're in a relationship, you don't always see or you don't always pay attention. So consider this your warning. Consider these your guidelines. If you're dating someone, it's a relatively new situation, watch for these, okay? First of all, how do they react when you're stressed out? Stress is part of life, and having good coping skills is really something I wish we could teach every child when they're growing up, but parents don't. We don't teach people how to self-soothe. So when many of us get stressed, we may overreact, or we may really emote, we may cry, we may get very upset. When you're dating someone, it's important to look and really just get a feel for how they deal with you when they're stressed. When you're stressed, I think when you're stressed, if you stop to just think about this, what I'm saying for a minute, you're oftentimes not great at communicating. Does this shut your new date down? Do they kind of back up? Do they withdraw? Do they ask you, why don't you just get a hold of me when you're feeling better, so you feel isolated and more alone? And maybe you don't want to share anymore because you don't trust they'll stick around. Pay attention to it. I'm not saying how they deal with stress as a deal breaker. It's just something I think you should note if you're dating someone new. How they respond when they don't get their own way, or when you set a boundary. Do they fight against it? Do they try to talk you out of how you feel? Do they try to get their way anyway? Do they sulk? If your partner that you're dating has any of those behaviors, I would highly suggest you don't date them, because a lot of people who have control issues or are manipulative, when their partner puts down a boundary or says no to them, they get very upset and they'll try to talk them out of it. They'll sulk, or they'll manipulate them in a way that will make them feel guilty to change their mind. So just be aware and put that in your guidebook, like, that's really good advice. That's something I need to watch out for. Do their actions follow what they say they'll do? We listen to a lot of people. We get swept off our feet, especially when we're dating someone new, with their words. They'll say things and we're like, oh my God, that was so sweet, that was so beautiful, and we tell our friends. But now what I want you to do is I want you to watch their words. Do their words actually follow through? Or are they just saying stuff and then going home and chilling out on the sofa? Are they actually doers, or are they talkers? Watch if they talk their walk and if they're consistent with it, because the best of that person you're ever going to see is when you're dating. So if they're already inconsistent and just saying things that are basically lies, that have no meat in them, no substance, then this is someone you probably shouldn't be dating, because that behavior is only going to get worse if they're inconsistent. How does your body feel when you're in their presence? Like, does your gut hurt? Does your head hurt? Do you get like your hairs ever stand up on your arm or your neck? Do you feel threatened? Do you feel scared? Or is this person like home? Does this person feel loving and accepting and supporting? Your body often will react before your mind, and it will give you a clear symptom. Sometimes people will date someone that brings back a perpetrator or someone who hurt them when they were a child. If your body reacts in any of that way, advocate for it, listen to it, and follow through with it. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're hanging out or becoming a boyfriend or girlfriend with someone like someone who hurt you from the past. How do they talk about their exes and other people who may have hurt them? This is extremely important, because if they are blaming, or if they talk about other people who hurt them in a mean or calloused way, that tells me they've got some unresolved past pain. And you can stick around. You can help them unpack it. But why would you do that? If they've carried it around from their past to now, chances are good they have been in other relationships where they tried to unpack some of that stuff, and rather accept responsibility for the part of theirs that it was, they tried to project it onto someone else. So learn from their past what they haven't dealt with, and then you'll be in a better position to decide, is this something I really want to take on it now or in the future with this person? Are they consistent and reliable with you? Do they make plans to do something and then last minute cancel, or give you an excuse why they couldn't do it or why they don't want to do it? Or do they get sick a lot and cancel dates a lot, or just not show and then make up some crazy excuse? This is a person who's playing games, and you may go along with it because they have so many other good qualities. But let me tell you something, out of all these behaviors, a game changer, a talker who is not walking their talk, someone who wants to manipulate or play games, head games, they are not worth it to you. They will end up hurting you or using you, and you will be left feeling taken advantage of, even if this relationship gets more serious. So I caution you with that one in particular, because it relates a little bit to all the others. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.